I want to briefly talk to people in the middle class. First of all, if you identify as being somebody in the middle class, you are accepting limitations placed on you by your government and the Internal Revenue Service. You're not in any class. This is America. We don't have classes. We don't have caste systems here. That middle class crap comes from Marx. You don't want to be pigeonholed in this class or another class. You're Americans. You have individual sovereignty. You can make of yourself anything you want in this country. The government will get the hell out of the way. So you're not in a class. Now, what has this president done to expand jobs? Nothing. Literally nothing. What has this president done to expand wealth creation? You see, in the private sector, in a system we call capitalism, there is spreading the wealth through voluntary contracts and arrangements, through production, through services. You pay somebody, they pay somebody else, and off you go. That's how you spread the wealth in a free society. Not at the demand of some bureaucrat or politician who wants to separate you from your hard week's earnings, but by your own decisions and what's in the best interest for you and your family. That's how you expand wealth, expand an economy, grow jobs. It's not that complicated. It's called the law of economics, is what it is. And no politician can change it, no matter how many speeches he gives, and no matter how many laws they pass to try and change that one. Don't call me part of the middle class or any class. I'm an American. I'm a unique human being. There are things I want to do with my life. I want to pursue happiness. I want to pursue what motivates me. Stop telling me I'm in a class. That should be how you think every time you hear these politicians pander to you. Obama's done nothing to create a healthy, vigorous economy. He's nationalizing our healthcare system. He's nationalizing the student loan system. He's all but nationalized 2 car companies. And for that, he wants your vote. Well, since when in America is the government taking over the operations of the private sector an act of compassion, and since when has that earned any politician your vote? Obama likes to talk about how he saved the auto industry. He hasn't saved any industry. He hasn't saved anything. He's spending us into oblivion. Do you know what happens to societies when the currency's destroyed? You ever see those black and white movies about the Weimar Republic? Or maybe you ought to take a look at what's going on in Zimbabwe. You know what happens? You see what's going on in New Jersey and New York? You see what's going on in Connecticut and parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia and Virginia, North Carolina from this storm? Multiply that by 1,000,000. That's what happens. Nothing works. Society dissolves. But these politicians will be long gone. The damage will have been done. Middle class, huh? Interesting. We create a class structure in our country where there never was one. A caste system in our country where there never was one. So they can keep telling us, oh, you're in this group, you should hate that group. You're in that group, you should hate this group. Which brings me to this. I want to talk to people who consider themselves minorities in America. Isn't this interesting, this concept of minorities? We've reached a point, it's 2012, where we shouldn't be talking about minorities and majorities or any of that anymore. The color of your skin, your faith, your sex, your gender. We're Americans. There's constant effort to balkanize us, where blacks should vote this way, and Hispanics should vote this way, and Asians should vote this way, and whites especially white males, should vote this way and on and on. Women should vote that way. Who the hell do these people think they are telling us how to vote? We all have one thing in common. We're human beings. And what does that mean? We have unalienable rights, not from Barack Obama, not from any president, not from any Congress, not from any Supreme Court. We have unalienable rights from God Almighty himself. Nobody's giving you rights. They belong to you already. And I am not talking about material rights. I'm talking about the right to live and live freely. To become wealthy or not. To fail, and then succeed. Every war we have fought is over our liberty, preserving it, advancing it, expanding it. Not government programs. The Revolutionary War. The Civil War. World War I, World War II, on and on and on, right up to this day. We don't fight wars for government. We don't fight wars for a bureaucracy. We don't fight wars for out-of-control politicians. We fight wars for individual liberty.